Welcome back, everybody. This is a three-man booth. We got a full house today with Phil and Bud. I'm Dan Salem. How are you guys? It was a good week to be a Jets fan.
No loss. Always good.
Good week to be a Giants fan too. You were on location, Phil. I liked reading your synopsis of what it was like.
It was. So I've been to a bunch of games before, and this was the first time. Probably because it was his first start. But they go now entering the field, Daniel Jones, and the place just like erupted. They didn't talk about anybody else. It was just DJ. And I know it was his first home start, but it got the crowd going. It was a fun atmosphere. I was saying, being in the parking lot while tailgating, usually everyone's like, how are we going to lose this time? We can't stop anyone. And it was just like the complete opposite. So it was fun to at least hear the optimism back in the tailgating area.
Well, that's fun because you were there like hours before the game, so you had like a full extent of tailgate.
Well, that's the whole. Yeah, I mean, it took us hour and 40 minutes to get there, which is not bad at all. But if we're going to be there all day, we might as well be there all day.
Okay. And someone was giving you a hard time, but I thought you took pretty good video from your seats of that touchdown dive. I thought that. That's just someone being a pain in the ass. So yeah, look on Facebook if you want to see Phil's touchdown video.
Yeah, I'm sitting there right before they're about to score. I'm like, holy crap, they're right in front of us. I might as well try and at least take a video. And it came out a lot cleaner than I thought, because usually when you upload videos to social media, it gets all grainy and stuff. But
you zoomed in and you could really see what happened. That was pretty good.
Well, the funny thing is, right before they scored the touchdown, someone said something about F in Washington. And I'm like, oh, now I got to put a disclaimer that this isn't PG-13.
I didn't watch with any sound. That's kind of how
it was definitely there was no point in that game where I thought they were going to lose. Washington is a complete dumpster fire.
Well, I want to know what game you watched, because I tried to watch the Giants game, but then I switched because it wasn't competitive.
So from my vantage point, that was the best game I've seen in a very long time, because it was just, you didn't have to sweat it. And Bud and I did our preseason picks, and jokingly we said, I don't see a win for Washington, but I don't see a win for Washington at all. Dwayne Haskins looks like garbage, absolute crap. And don't give me this thing that he came in the middle of the game and he wasn't ready because he takes no reps. I don't want to hear it. If this guy is supposed to be so good and everyone was pissed the Giants didn't take him at 6, let me tell you something. He's making Daniel Jones look like Montana right now.
Well, it's easy to throw the ball over the top when you're playing Youngstown State.
Yeah. I think they're seriously – I think they're considering starting Keenum against the Patriots so that he doesn't get locked.
They should. He would probably, and they're awful, but he would definitely probably give them a better chance of winning than Dwayne Haskins. I mean, he did not look good at all. He could have easily been picked off 5 times.
He was picked off 3.
Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is he could have been picked off more. He was terrible.
The Giants don't have a good defense, but they look stellar. So.
Yeah. I'm not gonna kid myself. It's still not a great defense, but you're right. They made them look like world beaters there.
It's funny. New York Sports Radio on Monday was all high on their defense and stuff like that. But I mean, if you look at the scope of what Washington is, I mean, yeah, they play better on defense, but Washington is just so putrid offensively that anybody could make them look good.
The Redskins play the Dolphins this year, right? Because that is going to be a game to watch. That's a game.
I actually have that as the only game Miami wins is against Washington.
I could see it because they looked better with Josh Rosen last weekend. I'm going to say better.
At least it was the first time they took a lead in 4 games.
Yeah.
They could go right up again.
Well, right. So I'm doing a survivor pool, and I picked against Miami, and that slim lead they held for a couple minutes gave me a mild, like, whatever contusion would be the right word for it. I was like, no, can't be.
But what's weird is, so all the people that didn't take the Chargers, for some reason, everybody else was on the Rams. It blows my mind. Why? Why would you pick that game out over all the other games that were going on? But everybody else was on the Rams to beat Tampa Bay. Why?
Yeah, the East Coast to West Coast. Tampa's not very good, but scoring 55 points against a really good Rams defense.
Well, it didn't look really good, but
Jared Goff threw the ball 69 times.
He threw over 500 yards and they lost. It was unbelievable.
570 yards, 515, something like that, right?
So my survivor pool was 16 people. We still had 12 left. Half of them picked the Rams, and they're all gone.
I don't get the infatuation with that game. Like, there's so many other games I would have went to first before that one, but good for you. You got 6 people left in your survivor pool now.
Yeah, and my wife and I are 2 of them, so we got a pretty good chance of winning.
I hope this is a high stakes survivor league here.
There were 16 people. We all threw in $15, so it's winner take all. So it's decent. It's not
all right. Not a bad pool.
Yeah.
Your survivor pool is going to be over by week 8. Apparently.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, the Dolphins don't play this week, so it's tough. This is a hard week to pick.
That's true. Now you have to really think about who you're going to take.
Well, so I
would take Philadelphia over the Jets.
I already picked the Eagles week 1, so I can't. But I like the Bears over Oakland, except it's in London, and Trubisky might be missing the game because he got hurt. Like, a lot of these quarterbacks went down last week. He was one of them.
Trubisky has a concussion. I forget what's his, a concussion or?
No, he's got a dislocated left shoulder and torn labrum. But they said because
I thought that was Josh Allen. Josh Allen has the concussion.
Has the concussion. Yeah.
They said because it's not his throwing shoulder, he could still play as long as he can tolerate the pain.
Yeah, well, and they're saying Chase Daniels is like fine, and you know what? I mean, Trubisky wasn't anything to write home about, so maybe they're right.
The Chicago's defense is going to keep them in every game, so it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback.
I think they've given up 10 or fewer points every single game this season, something crazy like that. That is unbelievable.
They made a Minnesota running game that has been pretty good this year look like the Jets running game.
Oh, pathetic. And what's Kirk Cousins if he can't mix it up and actually do something?
Overrated, overpaid quarterback.
Yeah.
$90 million guaranteed. And
Well, the game I watched was Kansas City, Detroit, which was excellent.
Awesome.
No defense from either team, but excellent. Now, this was the same as the Chiefs last year. They had no defense, and they're getting by again with no defense. And
but this was the first. I think this was the first game in Patrick Mahomes' career that he didn't throw a pass more than 20 yards, like completed more.
Yeah, the Lions.
He didn't look great, but when it was time for him to make a drive, I mean, he made plays with his feet. He made plays with his arm.
There were a couple of really plays that the officials ended up reversing that went against Detroit that took points off the board. So I don't know if I 100% agree with them. That was a game Detroit probably could have won. I mean, it was really even. I'm very impressed with the Lions so far this season.
So one of the things that I've been having a gripe with is the ridiculous fact that not only are they waiting and not blowing the whistle, especially when the quarterback is clearly his arm is going forward and the ball falls out. But from what I was in the car hearing that Kansas City game, so I didn't get to see it. But the Kerryon Johnson fumble at the 1 yard line that was returned for a touchdown. From what I'm hearing, that was actually the right call not to blow the whistle because it was a fumble and recovered by Kansas City.
Yeah,
so
except I watched the replay and it looked like he crossed the goal line before he fumbled the football, I believe, if that was the one. Or maybe there was a different play that reversed. Like there was 2 goal line plays, I think. And he either looked down in that one and then it looked like they scored another one and both went against Detroit. It was just it felt like home field advantage.
The officiating has been awful.
They're afraid to blow the whistle now. They're afraid to blow the whistle.
It's terrible. I mean, there were 12 accepted penalties against Washington, and I think they were flagged for like 20. I mean, at what point?
Well, they're just a bad team.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's bad, but you know what, Phil? It's not just that game; it's all the games.
No, I agree.
This Monday night game, that was borderline unwatchable too. It's terrible. Like the referees are just taking the pace of play out of the game, and football is not what we would call a fast-paced sport to begin with.
Well, that's one thing about Kansas City, Detroit. It actually had a pace, and it was actually fun to watch.
It's getting to the point where after every single big play, and it's not even just a catch, every single long run, you're like, is there a flag? Like it literally looks like everyone's looking around for a flag, and it's
every kickoff there's a flag. Every kickoff.
And you can't touch the quarterback, so like
right.
You can't touch anybody.
No.
You can't touch anybody. Pass interference phone call. What is a pass interference call now?
Oh, it's so ambiguous. Every game is different. It's unbelievable.
Defensive holding. A guy puts his hand on the guy's hip, reaches over him, knocks off the ball. No other contact is made. Holding.
So do you think this gets corrected? Do you think this gets corrected as the season goes on? Because these are new officials, right? Like, didn't they have an issue with them in the offseason or something?
Well, the moment Tom Brady tweeted last week about there's too many penalties, did you see how quick they stopped calling holding? We laugh, but it's completely true. I will say this challenge of the pass interference, everyone's trying to do it, and none of them are getting overturned because it was meant to overturn such obvious and egregious PIs. It really wasn't meant for the ticky-tack, like Bud said. He puts an arm on his shoulder in super slow motion, slowed down 15 times. It was meant for the so obvious that we missed that call to turn it over. Like, how many PIs have been overturned? Maybe a couple, but there hasn't been a lot. Like, I don't think that's not the point of the rule.
No,
and I know people are trying to use it that way.
They haven't really added too many penalties to a reviewed play after the fact either, even though that's an option now.
They did that to the Jets. They
did once.
For offensive pass interference. There was no offensive pass interference, but he was called for some stupid cockamamie thing that wasn't even part of the play on the other side of the field.
Yeah. So what about Burfict getting banned?
Perfect.
Here, I mean, that guy's an a-hole, right?
I'm surprised he's even playing again.
No, he's not.
No,
he's not.
No, what I mean is, like, in general, like, they shouldn't let him play at all.
That sucks because I mean Oakland finally had a good game, sort of. I mean, good.
We're gonna see Vontaze Burfict in the XFL in February.
Oh, maybe.
Along with Antonio Brown.
So who are you guys worried about? Who do you think like actually proved something this week? Because the scores this past week were really surprising, but some teams probably just had an off week. You know, last week of September, last week of the preseason, as we call it. Like,
I was surprised by New Orleans.
I wasn't.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody anticipated them being able to beat Dallas.
I did.
I know you picked them.
Well, so Dallas has played Miami, Washington, and the Giants with Eli Manning.
Exactly.
And so, yeah.
Exactly, Dan. You're 100%. I couldn't have said any better. They haven't played anybody. Look what happens when they finally play somebody.
Yeah, but New Orleans defense got carved up by Seattle last week, and they held Zeke in check. They held Dak in check. I mean, put that aside. New Orleans' defense is not that great, and they were still able to hold a pretty good offense to basically nothing.
No, I agree that
that's what I'm impressed about.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't think that their defense is like up here, but there's only a few that are actually stood out. I mean, Chicago stood out. The Bills have stood out to me.
The Bills holding it within 6, and let's be honest. If Jake Allen, which by the way, that's a really dirty hit.
Oh yeah.
If he had not gotten out of that game, Buffalo might win that game.
I thought the same thing. I mean,
it was really good.
Yeah.
What was the name of the quarterback that threw the ball up in the air for the interception there at the end of the game? Who was that? Looked like you and me throwing a football.
They had Matt Barkley in, right? Yeah.
That's who. Matt Barkley, right?
Yeah. Who carved up the Jets last year for 40 points in the Todd Bowles fire game.
Yeah. So I mean, I like Kansas City's offense, but their defense is terrible. I mean, the only team in the AFC that actually looks like they could actually potentially beat the Patriots is Buffalo because of their defense right now, which seems like a stretch because they just lost to them. But
the good news is when Kansas City plays the Patriots, Tyreek Hill should be back by then, so they might be a little more dynamic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What happened to the Texans?
I'll tell you what I think is weird. Atlanta, 1-3. They are terrible.
You had them in the Super Bowl, right?
Did I?
You want to remember that. You did.
Bill has
we're going to scratch that one out.
Every year, Bill has them winning the division or the Super Bowl.
Okay, I really liked the Texans.
Here they suck.
I like the Texans, and they're only 2-2, and they're not great either. But Atlanta looks awful. They're one of the worst teams right now.
But the Texans, I have Hopkins on one of my teams. Are they going to throw this guy the ball here? He's had single-digit fantasy points for 2 straight games.
You know what's interesting? Deshaun Watson, right, had a great rookie year, but then it was cut short. So last year was kind of the extension of his rookie year, which was great.
Yeah.
It was the beginning of his sophomore year. He's having a very pedestrian season. Now,
their offensive line's not that good.
Well, it wasn't good last year, and he still looked
right.
But this is year 2 into 3 for him if you can count the injury, and you wonder if he's actually as great as we all thought he was because he's not doing it. And I mean, I know it's early; it's only September.
Here's a question:
Hold on. Cut that out. All right, thanks.
So
We don't need
Minshew,
things.
if Minshew can win this week,
Ooh.
Who are they playing?
Jacksonville's got to play Carolina
Oh.
this week. Okay?
Yeah.
If they can beat Carolina, which Carolina doesn't look that great, you shut down Christian McCaffrey. That team is just average.
Yeah.
Will we start to hear the debate on whether or not Nick Foles?
He has to be. This guy's a rookie, right? He's a rookie on a rookie deal. Trade Nick Foles. I mean,
You just gave Nick Foles $88 million.
oh, I know. Is he untradeable? Is he untradeable? Do they have
There's a lot of teams in the league that need a quarterback right now. It's incredible how many backups are playing right now.
But at what point do you say he's for real or he's just on this kind of run? Do you give him a couple? I mean, Nick Foles is back until at least minimum week 8 because he's on IR. So
so this is a 2-2 division right now. If they're leading the division, you don't mess up a good thing. You gotta leave him in
because he looks really good.
Yeah,
and he does it weirdly. He's not. He does. You know, it's funny. Did you watch the ESPN thing with him and Uncle Rico?
I was just gonna say, did you see that?
He looks like Uncle Rico.
He does.
He does. But the guy could play.
Yeah.
It's funny. The entire AFC South is 2-2 right now.
Well, I mean, I liked them before the season because they had a decent defense and they got Fournette, and yet he's staying healthy. They're a pretty formidable team. But
Fournette
who saw
214 yards?
Yeah.
Who saw that coming against a good defensive front in Denver?
Which I don't. Can we even say that anymore? That they're a good front?
Not anymore because Chubb just tore his ACL, so he's out.
Well, they're also 0-4, so I mean I know they've lost close games, but
Joe Flacco sucks. They need a quarterback.
Now I do like the Denver Broncos plus 6.5 against the Chargers because the Chargers aren't beating anybody.
Yeah, but Melvin Gordon's coming back this week, and he's just going to get plugged in. He didn't play last week, and they didn't need to play him against the Miami team that sucks. So they're gonna play him a little bit more. Austin Eckler's going to get less touches, and that's going to be that.
Melvin Gordon has something to prove now because now he's going to prove why he should be getting paid.
Yeah. Well, and Eckler looks good, but he's not Melvin Gordon. So
no, Eckler's stock. If you have him in fantasy, if you didn't sell him today, you're screwed because he's worthless now.
Oh, a little aside. Do I trade Travis Kelce, who has been consistent but not great this season?
Depends what you get for him.
I was getting 3 players in return.
Who?
Carlos Hyde, Jarvis Landry, and Oakland's tight end.
Ugh, that sounds like a bunch of crap.
I mean, I need those. The other 2 guys are upgrades for me at wide receiver and running back because Calvin Ridley's been killing me. Stephon Diggs has been killing me. So Sammy Watkins has been killing me. He gets like 10 targets a game for 40 yards. It's like, come on.
I don't know. That guy's selling high on Jarvis Landry right now. Ask Bud about Jarvis Landry.
I know, and he's got a concussion too.
I've been trying to trade Joe Mixon for 2 straight days, and nobody wants him. So
no, he's garbage now. He's Joe Mixon.
Well, this guy is my brother, and so I'm debating.
Oh, it's your. Good for him.
He knows me.
High.
Yeah.
I tried to trade with Bud 2 weeks ago. He didn't want to. I tried to give Bud Mike Evans for Michael Thomas the week before Evans blew up against the Giants. He didn't want to take the deal. Now it's off the table.
And then you tried to trade me Gallman. What is his name? How do you pronounce it?
Gallman.
Gallman. And I rejected that, and then he scored 3 touchdowns or whatever.
Yeah, he would have been.
Whatever.
Fantasy has been frustrating me this year. These guys that are normally stable have been just crap in the bed.
It's been a weird year. It's been a weird year across the board. I mean,
I've been on the Jacoby Brissett bandwagon since week 1, and he hasn't disappointed. But I don't know about the Colts myself personally. We'll see. That whole division's.
Are the Steelers that bad?
I think they had the benefit of playing Cincinnati last night.
That's what I mean.
Cincinnati, I think they are.
Looks really, really, really bad.
I mean, Steelers defense looked great against Cincinnati. I don't know if they can keep it going.
But is that like a New York Giants thing? Like the Giants defense looked great against Washington.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to back them. I mean, Mason Rudolph is still developing. He's not really ready to be the starter.
Well, he has no choice. He has to be.
Right.
I mean, listen, you take your 2 best players off of any team, you're gonna go backwards. I mean, say what you want about Bell and Brown, and even Ben's hurt, but all right, fine. Now you took all three of those guys off the team. Who's surprised that they're struggling?
But do you know that last year Smith-Schuster's target shares were like 28 or 29% of the targets, and this year it's like low 20s. So he's actually getting less looks.
Well, that might be.
That's easy. He's getting
Antonio Brown. You would have thought it would have been the opposite. You would have thought he would have been throwing them more.
It might be because of Rudolph and going.
No, it's because everyone knows that Juju's the number one guy, so you're going to put coverage towards him.
That's true.
Yeah, but Antonio Brown caught 110 passes last year.
But Antonio Brown is the best wide receiver in the game of football. He's going to get another job because of it, even though he's a jerk. Well, he's kind of cuckoo.
So did we mention this last week? I know Bud and I said, what's he going? It looks like he's trying to go back to college and play college football.
He joined the college, but then I think he left already. Also.
Okay.
I don't know why he went back to Central Michigan, but he did, and then he left. So now he's suing the Patriots for $9 million and suing the Raiders for $10 million.
He'll never get any of it.
And who's gonna? No, he's not gonna. Is he ever? All right. Here's a question: is he ever playing another snap in the NFL?
I actually think that he'll get signed by midseason. There's
this year?
Yeah, there's enough teams that need him.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
He's that good. And
I understand that, but if the Patriots can't handle him and don't want to deal with his crap, what team is going to want to do that?
But the Patriots don't need him.
You're right, but
they don't need him. They're like San Francisco is 3-0, but he would put them over the top. Like the Rams, he'd put any of these teams that are waffling over the top. Like the Rams wouldn't have lost Tampa Bay with Antonio Brown on the field. I can almost guarantee it.
What if the Jets signed him to pair him with Bell again?
If it saves the season, sure, but it's not going to happen.
Dan,
but are you for that or what?
There's no saving this season.
No, I'm really disappointed that we aren't going to be at 100%. Mosley not being back for Philadelphia really hurts us. I mean, we're staring 0-7 in the face.
You think that would have helped Dan?
I think that we got one half of football with Mosley leading the defense, and it was excellent. I don't know where that unit could be with him.
But I said this in the podcast last week, and I wasn't on with the two of you last week. But if the Jets' excuse is that this one particular player is the reason why they are no good on defense anymore, that's bad coaching. It's bad scouting. It's bad drafting. One player cannot make 10 other people suck.
No, I agree, but they weren't no good against Cleveland. They were just no good against the Patriots, who are the best in football right now. So we'll see how they do against the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles are a team that I wholeheartedly do not believe in, even though they had one good week last week.
They made a really good Green Bay defense look very pedestrian.
I know, but Thursday Night Football tells lies. I just do not believe in Philadelphia right now.
So it's.
Go ahead, Phil.
No, I was gonna say it's Tuesday night, and I thought I heard something today about Darnold's spleen. Is he playing Sunday?
No. It's very unlikely he's going to play. He's practicing. He's not.
I would say, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm not the Jets doctor, but I would have to think that not this week, but maybe next week.
Next week.
He can do cardio.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
he was walking on a treadmill.
If he's even 75% for Dallas, he should sit. I mean, I know they're staring 0-7 in the face, but they have a shot. Like if the defense shows up and the defense actually came together with these 2 weeks, they can slow down the Eagles and Dallas because we know that those teams have played really bad games this season. I mean, Dallas looked bad against the one halfway decent team they played. The Eagles, yeah, they had a good Packers game. They didn't show me anything before that. So, I mean, I don't expect a lot from the Jets with Luke Falk, honestly, but the defense has been scoring points with or without Mosley. So, I'm interested to see how they come out of this bye week, if they actually come out hungry and if they actually show up and have a good first half or not. I mean,
a golden egg. Oh, boy.
Well, Vegas then a 14-point underdog on Sunday.
I don't anticipate them to win, but I would like to see them be competitive.
Yeah, I mean, like 16-10 or something would be nice.
Just something.
Yeah.
But I said this last week, and I know that I'm jumping the gun. I was never a big Adam Gase fan. I didn't like the hire in the first place. This offense looks terrible. This coaching looks like they're outmatched every single week. And if they come out after 2 weeks of preparation and they can't get anything going, I mean, what do we have to do here? And I get 0-7 is 0-7.
So here's a thought. Because Greg Williams was the interim head coach of the Browns last year and did excellent. Greg Williams is in the same position with the Jets this year with a equally as inept team. Do they let Gase go all season, or do they just, if they're 0-8, do they kick them aside and
if they lose to Miami?
Oh,
they won't lose to Miami.
Does Greg Williams get elevated to the head coach position?
There would be a picket line outside of Forum Park, and but this GM is Gase's guy, and
I know. And I like him. He came into a situation that was lose-lose and has tried to patchwork around it. I mean, they have like a terrible offensive line. I mean, he's gonna do things to that in the offseason, but he can't do it now. So he tried.
It's so bad. And I guess Gase came out today and said, well, we're going to take this week and we're going to play the 5 best guys regardless of how much they make or whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, my Lord.
So I like.
You're trying to evaluate this in week 5? Like, this is what the preseason's for.
No. But people are questioning, why is this player on the bench? Why is this player on the bench? Like, I like that he benched Tremaine Johnson despite his contract because he wasn't better than the guy playing. And it's like, that's a good team-building atmosphere. That's like the right attitude. Even if it's not working, it's still the right approach, in my opinion.
Montgomery get some snaps.
Yeah, so I like Montgomery. I don't agree with his play calling to this point. I do agree with his approach to the team. I like the things he said, and I like his demeanor. I like that, but it's not translating on the field right now. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they'll give him a second season to see what happens. This one, who knows what this one goes. They're only 0-3. It just looks so hopeless. They
need to score an offensive touchdown this weekend. If they do not score an offensive touchdown this week, oh my Lord, you'll hear me yelling from New Jersey.
And they better, because Philadelphia, their defense did not. Aaron Rodgers had his coming out party against Philadelphia's defense. Philadelphia's defense has not been shutting anybody down. So
they couldn't stop Devontae. Devontae Adams should have had 200 yards in the first half. They just stopped throwing at him. He also has turf toe.
Well, Falk to Robbie Anderson could be potent. I mean, I know Demaryius Thomas is probably going to be out. The Jets have a lot of injuries, but Le'Veon Bell is a great player. He should run all over the Eagles. So we'll see.
He can't be the only weapon. And right now, every snap is going to him. Even when he's not the running back, he's getting the snap.
I agree, which is why the play calling's been atrocious. I agree.
If you were a defensive coordinator for somebody else, you know the ball is going to Bell. At one point, there were 9 men in the box.
Well, there
was 2 cornerbacks, and everybody else was on the line of scrimmage.
Maybe they should have ran the flea flicker.
Just chuck it.
Maybe you should have ran the flea flicker and tossed it to Anderson and let him burn the defense.
There's no time to flip the ball back to the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, because they can't block those 9 guys, right?
They can't block them. They literally let the left defensive end just walk past the offensive line.
All right, okay, hold on. We got no new information, so let's save our ripping of the Jets till next week when we actually have some new information to go off of.
Get me all
he's had this built up for 2 weeks.
I know. This is supposed to be like a relaxing week where you can have hope again because nothing bad happened.
I was perfectly fine last week. My blood pressure was low, and now it's game week. So
let's move to some promise. So how do you see the Giants this week? They got a tougher test, but
so beginning of the year, I would have said this was a loss. No questions asked. Now after seeing Minnesota the first 4 weeks, I'm not that. Where's Thielen? Where's Diggs? They don't let Cousins throw the ball. Yeah. Yes, Dalvin Cook is a monster. But like you were just saying with Bell, if you know Dalvin Cook's going to get the monster or going to be a monster and get the ball, maybe you put an extra guy in the box. Yeah. Bud had Cook and Thielen last year in fantasy, and he was getting points all over the place. They're not throwing the ball to these guys, and I don't understand why.
Diggs is not getting the ball either. It's terrible.
So, and I know they definitely still have a good defense, but beginning of the year, I would have said this was a loss, no problem. Right now, it's the spread's 4.5, so it's
the way the Giants are playing. Here's my if they can stop Dalvin Cook or slow him down, they have a real good shot to win because I don't believe in the Vikings offense. Now, their defense is supposed to be really good.
Right.
But the Giants' offenses looked pretty good.
This may have to be a, 14-13 kind of game. Like, this might be a very low-scoring game. I don't think it's going to be a shootout, but
this is a prove-it game for both teams, one way or the other, and we'll see what happens. But
yeah, because after this game, you play the Patriots, so let's just, we'll chalk that one up to a loss on a short week because you have to play them on Thursday night, so that's going to be fun. And then you get a cupcake matchup against the Cardinals.
I am slowly getting on board with the undefeated Patriots bandwagon. But I'll give you credit for saying it before the season. But
I don't. Everyone laughed at me. You both laughed at me. I did.
I've been doing a lot of giving you credit after laughing at you this year, and I'm disappointed in myself. But
all right, let me. Okay, ready? Washington, Giants, Jets, Cleveland, Baltimore, bye. None of those teams scare me. Right? Okay. So that means you're in the bye at 9. You're 9-0 going into the bye. Then you come out against Philadelphia. We all agree Philadelphia is not as potent as we all thought, right? And then you get Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Buffalo, Miami.
The only team, Kansas City, is the one that really stands out.
I said this in the podcast last week. There's a very good chance that both teams go 13-0 into that game.
Right.
So the fact that Kansas City has no defense and the Patriots has an incredible defense, I mean, I would expect them to win. But we'll see what we get there. Now, the Patriots have had a few offensive line injuries, but they've been a rather healthy team. I don't know why more teams don't drop this, whatever they're doing, because they're pretty healthy. And it's
you're right. So they had those injuries last week, and Buffalo's still a decent team. Tom Brady had his 5th worst quarterback rating of his career on Sunday. He threw for 150 yards and no touchdowns.
He's still
right?
won.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
All right. No. I know it doesn't matter, but what I'm saying is maybe those offensive line injuries actually are going to hurt them in the long run.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it right now. I mean, he's still got plenty of time.
They're not gonna play a defense like Buffalo for quite a while. So
No, you're right. You're completely right about that.
I mean, yeah, that's tough.
It's a sore subject over there.
I don't understand.
Are we gonna have multiple win? So is it possible to have multiple winless teams this year? Because Miami plays.
Here we go. Winless teams: Arizona, Washington, Denver, Cincinnati, the Jets, Miami, and that's it. 5. You have 5 winless teams right now.
But most of them play one another.
That's true. Play. Well, at least
you're right about that.
Jets, Washington, and Miami all play each other, so somebody's got to win those games unless they tie.
Yeah,
that's true.
Don't the Jets get Denver too?
Denver, the Jets got to play.
They don't have Arizona.
No, Jets don't play Denver, but Denver. Let me look at Denver's schedule.
It's gonna be interesting. Tank for Tua.
I mean, I will say this: Denver does not look good, and they got a tough schedule.
Yeah. Well, their division's no.
Well, they got to play the Chargers next, and then they got to play Tennessee. Tennessee's probably their easiest game.
The Titans looked good last week.
They got to play Indy too, and Indy's hit or miss. But when they're running and Mac is playing well, I mean that team looks really, really good.
Yeah. Well, Brissett is not Andrew Luck, but he is a very competent quarterback. He's better than a number of players in the league.
So which team goes winless? Because you're right, a lot of these teams play each other. Washington or Miami? I'm gonna say it's Washington or Miami.
I gotta think it's Miami.
Yeah, I mean, but Rosen's better than Haskins right now.
You could make that case.
And they got, I mean, Miami's trying to lose. I don't think Washington is. So I feel like it's Miami.
Right, but that's what makes it even worse. If Washington does go winless and Miami was purposely trying to go winless, that's what does that show you?
The other thing is if they fire John Gruden, right, this weekend or next week. Jay Gruden. If they fire him, that's going to light a spark in the team, at least for a couple of weeks. So I don't know exactly when the Miami game falls, but that'll help.
So they play New England. They play New England this week, and then Miami next week.
Right. So that's what I heard going home. They go like, well, if Jay Gruden gets fired, why would you fire him this week? Because you're going to play the Patriots. You're going to lose anyway. Why wouldn't you wait till the week after for a new head coach to come in and play Miami, where you have a theoretically easier game?
Yeah.
I don't think he gets fired before this game. I'm sure the Patriot game will probably put the final nail in the coffin.
Well, I don't know how it would make the decision any different, but maybe they just wait for, like you said.
You're probably right. But no, it's for the new guy to come in, not to have to face the Patriots as his first game as a head coach.
Yeah. So I didn't put money on the Patriots in the offseason. But why didn't we? We really should.
Because what, you mean to win the whole thing or to go winless?
Yeah.
Or to go undefeated?
To win anything. I got to remember to do this next time.
I feel like none of us thought the defense was going to be as good as it is. I think we all thought the offense was going to regress, and to an extent, it hasn't been lighting up the scoreboard.
No,
I don't think anyone believed that the defense was as good as it is. Because defense is better than the offense. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Well, and defense has won the Super Bowl the last couple seasons, and it's winning in the NFL this year. That's basically what my main takeaway thus far is: defense is winning.
And maybe, and let's just say they do go undefeated in the regular season. Bud just went through the schedule. They play nobody. When you get to the playoffs, you're actually playing good teams. So if you're going to have this is, I know we don't have time to get into this, but this is my whole beef about why college football will never, never be as good as the NFL. These cupcake matchups. Then when the real games start to happen at the end of the season, these teams have been playing nobody for 4 months.
So let me throw something out at you, Phil. You make a good point.
We got 30 seconds, so make it quick.
Like 30 seconds.
We'll do it on the podcast.
All right, well.
I'm just telling you, you're going to get cut off. We make a quick point.
I had a really good point. So
that was 10 seconds.
People like Dwayne Haskins, right? They play crummy schedules, right? Or people like from Alabama, right? They play crummy schedules. Yet you look at somebody like Gardner Minshew, who plays at a good Division I in the pack and has to play lower level teams. He looks like the better quarterback, right? Because he has to make better decisions and harder throws in college than these guys that, like anybody from Oklahoma, just chucks the ball down the field and somebody catches it and they score a touchdown. They score 70 points. That does not move into the NFL very well. That's my point.
That was an excellent point. You squeezed it in there in the buzzer. This is a great show, guys.
30 seconds.
All right. Well, let's hope for some wins this week. Let's hope for some wins.
Right.
Thanks for watching BuzzChomp.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Subscribe and share.
Share.
Woo.